On December 8th, 2020, 23-year-old Tana Mongeau uploaded a video titled, "I Caught My Best Friend Hooking Up With My Man, a Storytime Rant Scandal." Throughout the 35-minute-long video, the YouTuber, who had been making content for over 5 years now, talked about a friend who she found hooking up with a man she was seeing at the time. She called that friend Mindy. While the golden era of Storytime YouTube was pretty much behind us at this point, Tana's video about Mindy was told in her signature charismatic and self-deprecating style, keeping viewers on the edge of their seat, whether the story was really true or not. The Tana-Mindy drama would become one of the most notorious sagas of Tana's career, partly because the video went so viral, and partly because it marked the beginning of a turning point in Tana's career, one that would see YouTube's biggest quote-unquote party girl redeem her reputation and come out the other side after years of scandal, more relevant than ever. This is part 2 of our deep dive into one of the internet's most canceled creators, the redemption of Tana Mongeau. From Centennial World, I'm Lauren Meisner, and this is Infinite Scroll, a podcast about internet culture, the creator economy, and how social media is shaping Gen Z. Welcome back to Infinite Scroll, everyone. I am so excited to bring you guys part 2 of our Tana Mongeau deep dive. This episode is all about how Tana has managed to redeem herself, her reputation, her career, and her public image over the last 4 years. But before we get started, let me read you guys some nice little reviews, as always. So the first review I have is from Magic Bailey on YouTube, and they wrote, "Mini Scroll has quickly become an instant click for me when I see each new upload. I am obsessed." Thank you, Bailey. That is so sweet. Alex and Julian on Apple Podcasts wrote, "Thank you. Me and my BF love the pod. We listen together all the time. So slay." Love that. I love when I hear that people listen with their boyfriends, or if guys are listening. I don't know. I feel like we try and talk a little bit about like boy internet here on this podcast, and I love to hear that the boys can also enjoy Infinite Scroll. And then at Mars3483 wrote, "I put on your Gen Z pop star video for my dog with my dog, then watched this video, and now I'm completely obsessed. Amazing content." Okay. I'm obsessed that not only do we have boyfriends listening to the pod, but we also have dogs listening to the pod now. So as always, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. It helps me so much. It helps me grow. Please also sign up to our newsletter, which is called Infinite Scroll. On Fridays, we round up the 5 biggest think pieces about internet culture, creator economy, commentary style articles that you need to know on the internet that week. And also join our Geneva group, which is also called Infinite Scroll, where you can talk with people who are obsessed with internet culture and drama and tea, and you can chat with me. So as I said in part 1, we did reach out to Tana for comment if she wanted to come on, provide commentary, do a little interview with the pod. And of course, we did not hear back. Again, didn't expect to hear back, but we always do reach out to the creators that we cover, just in case. The Mindy video was Tana's first authentic story time in a while. Tana had cut back on these videos because as her fame grew, the people in her stories were often public figures. This made it easier for fans to identify them. Also, off the back of her questionable relationship with Jake Paul, it made sense for her to slow down a little, given that she had alienated many of her viewers. Before I summarize the story, there are a few main characters to note. First, we have Mindy, who was Tana's best friend. And then we have Jeff, the guy who Tana was hooking up with at the time. Mindy and Tana had been extremely close over the past year, where Tana was helping her with her career and also her love life. Tana and Jeff had been hooking up for a decent amount of time, and he had gotten to know many of her friends, including Mindy. So the story begins during Halloween, one of the most iconic times of the year for an influencer, when Tana noticed that Jeff had commented 3 star emojis on Mindy's Instagram post. This set off alarm bells. In another instance, Mindy persuaded Tana to invite Jeff to join their friend group for a night out. Upon reflection, Tana said that Mindy seemed, quote, just a little too happy about Jeff's decision to join them. At one point in the night, Tana said that she heard a snippet of their conversation.
Then I overhear them. She says something to him about him being cute, and then he says to her, "Oh, you're Tana's hot friend. I wish I could fuck you."
To make matters worse, Tana says that Mindy has always been quite defensive over anyone she had a crush on or was seeing. With this context, she says that her behavior towards Jeff was all very hypocritical because she had asked Tana to stay away from a girl that she had a crush on. By the end of the night, Tana found herself wondering where Jeff had disappeared to, realizing he hadn't even said goodbye. As she walked out of her room, she decided to FaceTime him, only to spot Mindy emerging from the house's movie room wearing an oversized t-shirt. To add to the drama, Tana then received a text from Jeff saying to come to the movie room to talk. By the time Tana walked in, Mindy had returned, and both Jeff and Mindy, quote, looked like deer in headlights. Initially skeptical, Tana was reluctant to believe that Mindy had actually hooked up with Jeff, given that they were best friends. However, as her friends recounted various instances of Mindy showing interest in Jeff, Tana became convinced that she needed to check the house's security footage to get to the bottom of the situation. Upon doing so, she confirmed that indeed they had hooked up. According to Tana, Mindy attempted to apologize, but also attempted to shift the blame by claiming that Jeff had initiated everything. Despite this, their relationship deteriorated further when Mindy dressed up as Lil Xan, one of Tana's exes, for Halloween, straight after all of this went down. Of course, like every Tana Mongeau storytime, her fans needed to figure out who Jeff and Mindy were. Jeff is reportedly Joshua Grecken, the founder and creative director of Troubled Humans. Meanwhile, Mindy was the one and only Brooke Schofield. Today, we all know Brooke as the co-host of the Cancelled podcast and one of Tana's closest friends. But at the time that this all went down, she had far less clout online. Brooke was known as a member of Tana's friend group after originally moving to Los Angeles from Arizona in 2019, hoping to pursue acting. 2 days after Tana's initial story time, Brooke took to her YouTube channel to post a response video titled, "To Tana from Mindy." This video has since been deleted, but in the video, Brooke called Tana out for lying, outing her and leaving out certain details to make Tana look better. One instance Brooke mentioned involved the girl she had a crush on. In the video, she nicknamed her Katie. According to Brooke, it was widely known among their friend group that she liked Katie. That being said, Brooke overheard Tana going up to Katie and confessing her own feelings. But Tana then told Brooke the opposite, that it was Katie who expressed romantic interest in Tana. In the video, Brooke maintained that she didn't necessarily ask Tana to stay away from Katie, but rather she asked if she would be given the chance to pursue her first. Brooke mentioned that Tana respected her request and also clarified that Brooke was free to hook up with anyone Tana had been involved with except for Jake Paul. Another alleged lie in Tana's story was that Brooke encouraged her to invite quote-unquote Jeff over. Brooke pointed out that Katie was with them that evening, questioning why she would then pressure Tana to invite Jeff. Brooke also noted that she and Jeff had been part of the same social circles long before she even met Tana. On that same night, it seemed as if Tana was going to hook up with Katie, so it seemed that Tana had given up on her promise to Brooke. Brooke said that the sequence of events is important here because Tana had said that she started speaking to Katie because Brooke was flirting with Jeff. She maintains that that was incorrect. Brooke also mentioned that if she had planned to hook up with Jeff, she would never have done it at Tana's house. However, she admitted that she and Jeff did end up hooking up that night, though they didn't have sex. Brooke claimed Tana knew this, but continued to insinuate otherwise. On top of this, Brooke accused Tana of lying about how she learnt about the hookup, saying that she told Tana about it the following afternoon and that she didn't actually find out via security footage. In fact, Brooke said that the security footage was not from the movie room, but rather the kitchen. And as for her dressing up as Lil Xan, Brooke maintained that she didn't even think of Tana at that moment and that she was going as a rapper for Halloween because her friend was dressing up as Post Malone. After everything unfolded, the reaction was mixed. Many of Tana's fans continued to send Brooke hate. In her response video, Brooke admitted that she was in the wrong, but noted that the amount of hate and death threats she was receiving was unnecessary. Tana did end up releasing a statement on Twitter calling for her followers to limit the amount of hate, posting, quote, "By the way, I never condone harassment toward anyone I tell a story about. I don't think with an eye for an eye mentality, and whatever that person did, I'll go get therapy over, LMAO, no need to attack anyone." Nevertheless, Tana did go on to post the security footage from the kitchen on TikTok, only adding fuel to the fire. As for how the situation impacted Tana, Brooke's video cast doubt on Tana's story and further damaged her credibility and legitimacy. While Brooke and Tana have clearly had their problems, the two seem to resolve their differences by the launch of the canceled podcast in 2021. In July of that year, Tana started teasing the podcast, posting a trailer to the canceled podcast YouTube channel. Of course, the name of the podcast was Tana poking fun at cancel culture while acknowledging just how much being canceled informed her brand over the years. Quote, "I have been canceled a few times, so it's only fitting that I call my show Canceled. I am so excited to finally be the host, as I have been the guest of hundreds of podcasts. I decided to finally do this show because I want to give the audience a new insight as to what I am about, how I feel about breaking news, and giving you an unfiltered insight into my world," Tana told Us Weekly in 2021. According to reporting from Page 6 at the time, Tana scored a multi-million-dollar deal with the Paragon Collective and DWE Talent to host a podcast. Of course, this felt very natural for Tana's brand, given that she skyrocketed to viral fame for her charisma and storytelling abilities. The podcast was set to include interviews with different celebrities, where Tana and her friends would also sit down to discuss the latest trends. According to Business Insider, Canceled was Tana's attempt to fill the gap of frenemies, Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein's shared podcast that abruptly ended 1 month earlier. Quote, "With upcoming guests like Trisha Paytas and Nessa Barrett, influencers who have also been entangled in drama, Mojo is hoping to fill a void left by frenemies," Kat Tenbarge reported for Business Insider at the time. The first episode of the Canceled podcast aired on July 30th, 2021, and to everyone's surprise, Tana hosted the episode with Hunter Moreno and Brooke. As for why Tana chose them to co-host the pilot, she said at the top of the episode,
"I felt like it would be very fitting to sit down today with Brooke and Hunter because, all jokes aside, they are my favorite people, two of my funniest friends, and the only people who will ever hold me accountable."
From our research, it remains unclear exactly how Tana and Brooke overcame their differences. Many users across various Reddit threads have wondered how they reconciled and how Brooke ended up co-hosting the podcast. 1 year ago on the r/canceled pod, one Reddit user asked, "How did Brooke and Tana become friends again after the Mindy situation?" A couple of users responded saying that the two saw each other at a party and reconciled. However, we haven't been able to verify these claims. Since its first episode, the Canceled podcast has skyrocketed in popularity, becoming the 8th most popular podcast in the United States. After taking an almost year-long break from May 2022, the podcast came back with a rebrand in April 2023. The new setup featured Tana and Brooke recording at Tana's house, similar to the setup that we all know and love today. Since then, Brooke has become a permanent co-host, and her name has been added to the podcast title, now known as Canceled with Tana Mongeau and Brooke Schofield. As we all know, the Canceled podcast has really hit its stride in recent months. We don't need to discuss every story, as we've covered much of it on Mini Scroll, but the podcast has gone super viral after shedding light on the truth about Matt Rife and, more recently, Clinton Kane. From her story times to the podcast, Tana's career, marked by numerous conflicts and cancellations, has not made her the most brand-safe influencer. This has impacted her from a business standpoint, where she has frequently discussed how her brand jeopardizes sponsorships. As a result, she has been forced to get creative in building her empire. Over the years, Tana has embarked on numerous business ventures outside of YouTube and podcasting. These ventures have further entrenched her presence in the viral space while allowing her to stay true to her brand, something her followers have always loved about her since the beginning of her career. That being said, Tana has started quite a few companies and pushed different income streams. We won't have time to get into all of them today, but let's go through a few notable examples. For instance, in 2020, Tana joined OnlyFans, a decision that was not necessarily unsurprising given her whole vibe. In May 2020, she and her best friend, Ashley Schwann, launched their pages Tana Uncensored and Ashley's Knockers with a joint photo shoot. For additional context, Ashley is now dubbed Mindy 2.0, after it was revealed that she was seeing Tana's ex-boyfriend, Joey Joy, behind her back. But of course, they launched their OnlyFans before all of that went down. Tana announced her OnlyFans debut on her social media platforms, causing a flood of traffic to the site. According to reporting from the Daily Dot at the time, quote, 20 minutes after the initial tweet, Tana announced that the website broke. Initially, both Tana and Ashley operated their OnlyFans pages like pay-per-view catalogs. free to subscribe, but with fees to unlock explicit content. Tana has occasionally discussed her success on OnlyFans. In March 2022, she revealed that she was a top earner on the platform, having amassed $10 million since her debut in 2020. The following year, Tana diversified her online presence even further, announcing the launch of Tana's Angels. In April 2021, Tana announced her plan to enter into a managerial role for small content creators, launching her very own talent agency called Tana's Angels Agency, or TAA. Sharing the news via an Instagram post, she wrote, "Yes, the rumors are true. After receiving tens of thousands of messages daily from people asking me how I make money on OnlyFans and as an online creator, how to get started, and for some bad bitch mentorship, and a year of turning Tana Uncensored into a multi-million-dollar business, my team and I knew it was time to partner with Unruly Agency and Tara to start my very own agency, TAA, Tana's Angels Agency." For Tana's Angels, Tana partnered with her manager, CEO and owner of DWE Talent, David Weintraub, and Tara Electra, owner of the Unruly Agency, which also repped Tana. Quote, "In this industry, I have been fucked over by so many people in every imaginable way. When I signed to Unruly in April 2019, I was so grateful and excited to work with and be mentored by some of the smartest, best women I know, who truly changed my life for the better and taught me so much about how to create an empire based in authenticity, honest, and working hard," she continued in her announcement. Tana's Angels felt like a natural extension of her brand. In some ways, it seems like the grown-up version of Trash, Tana's collaboration channel with small creators that launched in 2016. That said, when Tana's Angels launched, Tana did face backlash. Some users described the agency as a scam and criticized her, suggesting she doesn't understand the challenges of building an OnlyFans presence from scratch. Quote, "Tana is making money off OF because she's already got a name. You being in her agency does not guarantee you the same success she's had. You don't need an agency to succeed at OnlyFans, you just need a fan base, and that can take a while," wrote one Twitter user. Many also questioned how much Tana would earn as a manager and whether she would take a percentage of her clients' funds on OnlyFans. Despite such criticism, Tana's Angels reportedly received more than 100,000 applicants just 10 hours after the announcement. While initially promising, many internet users have wondered about the current status of Tana's Angels since it launched, with one user on Reddit asking, quote, "Does anyone know of people who actually have been recruited, managed, and became successful with OF due to Tana's Angels?" There have also been reports that Unruly Agency was being sued by clients after the agency posted sexy pictures of clients that went beyond what they'd consented to, writes E.J. Dixon for Rolling Stone. With Tana's Angels being part of Unruly, this only fueled speculation. As of 2023, it appears that Tana's Angels is still active, as Tana cited the agency as a source of income for Created with John Uche.
Well, I am signed with Unruly Agency, and the CEO of that, she is like my best friend. We decided to kind of start a little subdivision at Unruly called Tana's Angels Agency, or TAA, because girls saw, models saw the success that I was having in that, and the fun I was having and the money I was making.
Since then, Tana has also released Dizzy, a canned wine beverage, in 2022. In the same conversation with John Uche, Tana explained that Dizzy actually spawned from a ghost kitchen concept called Tana's Tacos.
A year before we decided on Dizzy, we thought it was going to be Tana's Tacos, and we thought it was going to be a ghost kitchen, and we did the entire process with the same people who did Beast Burger, and tried all the foods inside, probably gained 20 pounds just trying all the freaking food for Tana's Tacos. And we got it all the way to the finalized products and the finalized menu and where these pop-ups were going to be. And it was going to be on Postmates and Uber Eats and whatever. And I was just like, I hate to say this, but I don't think it's right. I don't think Tana needed Tana's Tacos. You know what I mean? And we switched to Dizzy, and it was a shot in the dark.
While Tana's Tacos didn't make her excited for the future of the brand, creating her own alcoholic beverage felt like it just made sense.
At the time, it was like, my image is party girl, and I'm always partying. Why am I not partying with my own drink in my hand and stuff like that?
Dizzy launched in January 2022 with a star-studded launch party featuring huge influencers and celebrities, including Dixie D'Amelio, FaZe Banks, Charlie Jordan, Josie Kasenko, Makeup by Ariel, and more. By 2023, Tana revealed that she had sold, quote, hundreds of thousands of cans of Dizzy, making it one of her most successful business ventures to date. Aside from a few scandals here and there, that brings us to now. Tana's renaissance. Over the past year or so, Tana's perception in the public eye has shifted. After years of being considered everything from unreliable to overdramatic to a clout chaser, she has seemingly won over many of her haters. While it's not unusual for an influencer's popularity to ebb and flow, Tana has been through quite a shift, and there are a couple of reasons why. Much of this shift is thanks to the canceled podcast and Tana's rapport with Brooke. One interesting characteristic about Tana is her consistent inclusion of friends in her journey to success. From the outset of her career, she introduced her hometown friends like Amari, Bella, and Ashley to her audience, many of whom still appear in her videos. Contrasting Tana to someone like David Dobrik provides an interesting comparison. While both creators choose to feature their longtime friends in videos, Tana never really faced the same criticism as David. While David was posting Vlog Squad videos, he was frequently criticized for supposedly orchestrating and manipulating his friends, especially because he was rarely in the videos, but instead behind the camera. Tana, in contrast, has always positioned herself as the main character alongside her friends, which allows her content to feel far more genuine. This approach extends to her collaboration with Brooke on the podcast. While Brooke has undoubtedly carved out her own niche in the viral space, the conversational nature of the podcast initially captivated viewers. This style allows audiences to see themselves reflected in Brooke and Tana's discussions, making Tana's content more relatable than ever. With this, Cancelled has perfectly tapped into the cultural zeitgeist that favors podcasts, storytelling, and authenticity. On top of this, as Tana moves away from traditional YouTube videos, she's managed to be even more honest. While authenticity has never been an issue for Tana, she previously faced challenges with monetization, which sometimes led to self-censorship on certain topics or issues. However, on a podcast, she faces fewer restrictions. The conversational format of the podcast has allowed Tana to discuss topics that might not naturally fit into a scripted YouTube video, especially given that her content is largely comedic in nature. From her journey with sobriety to reflections on her childhood, this platform has provided internet users with deeper insights into her life and her ongoing personal growth. Tana has been known to be controversial in the past, but her openness about working to change is helping people understand the reasons behind her past behavior. Through appearances on podcasts like Call Her Daddy and episodes of the Cancelled podcast, Tana has opened up about her tumultuous upbringing and the challenges she faced, including abuse from her parents. She has historically discussed her lack of structure growing up, which she acknowledges contributed to her reputation of being unreliable. We all know that she was chronically late for most of her early career. While Tana has previously touched on her upbringing in her YouTube videos, including one titled Finally Opening Up About Growing Up / My Insane Dad, she now approaches these topics more seriously, allowing her audience to take her discussions about her quote insane dad and other personal matters seriously as well. In fact, clips from a recent episode of the Cancelled podcast went viral after Tana discussed being no contact with her mother, who still tries to reach out to her. Her mother even bombarded Tana's boyfriend, Makoa, at a recent poker tournament that Tana participated in. In a similar vein, Tana has also been more forthcoming with her experiences in the industry at an early age. It's no secret that culturally, we're now more sensitive to the sexualization and exploitation of children and young people on the internet than we were in years prior. This shift seemingly comes from a better understanding of how internet fame negatively impacts creators, especially minors, and Tana Mongeau is no exception. As Tana's grown up before us in the public eye, many fans are now looking back at her behavior and the decisions she made in her early career through a more empathetic lens. This extends to Tana's collaborations with other YouTubers in the 2010s. We spoke about this briefly in part 1, but Tana spent much of her early career collaborating with much older creators, many of whom engaged in highly inappropriate behavior with her for clicks and views. One such creator, who is currently facing backlash for this, is Cody Ko. Cody got his start on Vine and pivoted to YouTube after the app shuttered in 2017. He grew his following by making reaction videos and commentary videos about other internet personalities. Sometime between 2015 and 2017, Tana and Cody allegedly attended Playlist Live, an annual convention for content creators. At this event, the two allegedly slept together. Cody was allegedly 25, while Tana was allegedly just 17 years old. While this allegation has been circulating online for years, it recently reemerged after Tana made this claim during a live podcast show for Cancelled on May 30th. Over these past 6 weeks, fans and fellow influencers alike have shared support for Tana, called on Cody to address it, and have engaged in open discussion about how Tana was treated by adults who were supposed to protect her throughout her early career. In that same interview with John Uche, Tana spoke about what it was like being sexualized as a minor online.
Even just in the industry, being so young, 16, 17, 18, you're showing up to stuff and you're getting hit on left and right by the directors and the producers and the people you're working with and other creators. And it's normalized. I shouldn't say it's normal, but it's normalized. And the people just play into that so much, the sexualization of everything that you do.
As Tana has opened up more about her upbringing and early experiences in the industry, these stories have humanized her and helped explain some of her behavior and her decisions. In turn, viewers are more empathetic to Tana, and unfortunately, this empathy means more people now believe her. As Tana spent the past few years working on herself, her circle of friends has evolved, which brings us to the final reason for her renaissance. In late 2023, Tana went on an extended vacation to Hawaii, where she met her now boyfriend Makoa through a mutual friend. Makoa is not an influencer. In fact, his Instagram is set to private, where he has less than 2,000 followers, and he works for a company that does photography and videography for real estate. After years of dating questionable men, fans love Tana and Makoa together, as it seems like Tana found someone to help ground her. Another major shift in Tana's personal life that's improved her public image is how much she's distanced herself from problematic friends. Some notable influencers that Tana dropped recently include Lilah, Gibney, and David Dobrik. Lilah Gibney is an influencer who rose to fame for posting lifestyle videos, which included videos about her transition and experiences as a sugar baby. One of her most viral moments was in 2019, when she claimed that she and a friend were kicked out of the Team 10 house for being trans. Earlier this year, fans started noticing that Tana and Brooke, who were previously close with Lilah, had distanced themselves from her. After mounting speculation, Tana and Brooke addressed their relationship with Lilah on Canceled, confirming that they are no longer friends. They said nothing ended poorly, but Tana is in a place where she's, quote, refining everything in her life as she explores sobriety and a different lifestyle. That being said, the rumor mill still continued, and the theory now is that Tana primarily cut Lilah off after Lilah showed Tana's ex-boyfriend private group chat messages about him that Tana had sent to her girls' group chat. However, we'll probably never know for sure. Tana's separation from David Dobrik, on the other hand, was much more public. After the 2021 Vlog Squad scandal, in which David was accused of fostering a toxic environment within the collective that enabled an alleged sexual assault of a woman, Jeff Wittek, who was a member of the group for years, started speaking out about his own traumatic experiences with David. Back in 2020, Jeff was seriously injured during a prank that he was filming for David's channel, in which several members of the Vlog Squad spun around on a rope attached to an excavator. David was driving the excavator. Quote, "I tore some ligaments in my leg, I broke my foot, I broke my hip, I shattered my skull in 9 places, I shattered my eye socket, I almost lost my eye, and I almost died," Jeff later said of this accident. David did not respond well to Jeff taking this public, and the two had a huge falling out that also involved an ongoing lawsuit. In the aftermath of all of this, Tana, who had been friends with members of the Vlog Squad and even filmed with them in the past, appeared to take Jeff's side. Tana and Jeff became really close, and Tana appeared on his podcast many times to help him discuss the events of his accident and his traumatic experiences with David. Tana's support of Jeff through this difficult time showed audiences a softer side to Tana that the internet didn't always see. And throughout this time, Tana was also building a stronger friendship with another influencer who was experiencing her own renaissance, Trisha Paytas. Trisha and Tana previously had quote-unquote beef, in part due to how the Vlog Squad treated Tana while member Jason Nash was dating Trisha. Throughout his relationship with Trisha, Jason made several jokes in Vlog Squad videos about having a threesome with Tana. For context, Jason is currently 51 years old, Trisha is currently 36 years old, and Tana is currently 26 years old. Jokes like this from Jason were creepy, and yet another example of how Tana was sexualized by the industry while barely being old enough to drink at the time. Over the course of Trisha's relationship with Jason, she repeatedly mentioned that she thought it was weird that the Vlog Squad spent so much time with Tana, who was significantly younger than the rest of its members. Tana becoming closer with Jeff and Trisha in the aftermath of the Vlog Squad cancellation put her on the quote-unquote right side of history with viewers. Now, as Tana's reputation was starting to shift more positively, one very public feud that we have not yet discussed made a big impact on how audiences perceived Tana and all that she had been through in her career in the spotlight. That feud was Tana Mongeau versus Addison Rae's dad, Monty Lopez. In August 2022, rapper Yung Gravy made an appearance on Jeff Wittek's podcast, Jeff FM. During the episode, the artist said that he had a thing for MILFs and that he was going on a date soon with Addison Rae's mother, Sherry. This was fresh off rumors that Addison's father, Monty, had cheated on Sherry. In response to Yung Gravy's comments, Monty threatened the 26-year-old rapper on TikTok for talking about his estranged wife. Quote, "Watch your mouth, boy. You gon' get Chris rocked," Monty wrote on a TikTok video duetting the clip of Yung Gravy on Jeff's podcast. In the comments, Monty challenged the rapper to a boxing match, writing, "At Yung Gravy, let's get in the ring, please. If you have balls, I'll take them." He also tagged a number of influencers and drama accounts. Monty's videos were getting a lot of attention because they were genuinely unhinged. And it turns out our girl Tana also couldn't look away. In the comment section, Tana said she is, quote, "calling the police over Monty's TikTok threat to Yung Gravy." Monty responded to Tana, who was just 24 years old at the time, just 3 years older than his daughter Addison, telling her to take a bath. He then commented again, asking Tana if she is calling the police over the number of people that she slept with, writing, "About your body count?" ? Monty then took to Instagram to continue making degrading comments about Tana's sex life. The then 46-year-old father asked his followers to vote in a poll on whether they thought Tana had slept with more than 300 people or less than 300 people. She posted on TikTok and Instagram stories threatening to expose him for clout chasing, alleged drug use, and alleged inappropriate interactions with young women. Though Tana certainly didn't need help defending herself, fans and creators came to Tana's defense en masse for what seemed like the first time ever in her career. Monty's public slut-shaming and harassment of Tana, who was 22 years his junior, was a wake-up call to so many who had judged Tana in the past, marking a turning point in the perception of Tana that just kept getting better. While Tana entered the 2020s at a low, battling addiction issues, career-defining scandals like TanaCon, and a difficult split from Jake Paul, her redemption was right around the corner. Over the next 4 years, Tana would rebuild her life and her reputation by showing more vulnerability, changing who she associated herself with, exploring sobriety, and launching a chart-topping podcast that allowed fans to get to know Tana on a more personal level. Through all of this, the internet started to see Tana through a different lens. While this is not to say that Tana is faultless through her many mistakes and scandals, but her behavior and decisions over the course of her career did not exist in a vacuum. Since Tana first posted on YouTube back in 2015, it's clear she lacked the guidance and protection she needed as a young creator rising through the ranks. And despite the wild child label that she so proudly wore, the reality is that Tana has been exploited by the industry since the age of 17. 9 years later, it's about time that Tana Mongeau finally got her redemption. Infinite Scrolls podcast produced, presented, and co-written by me, Lauren Meisner, for Centennial World. This episode was researched and written by Annabelle Ben-David and edited by Danny Fennick. Thank you guys so much for listening. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.